are so glad to have you here, everybody. Welcome to another SARE National session. We have kicked off the year with some really incredible speakers, and today is no different. The topic today is, what can a Chamber of Commerce do for you? And it's such an important question to answer because I know we've talked about this before. People think, I think I want to be a part of it, but I'm not exactly sure what the benefits are. You know, I'm not exactly sure what I could get out of it, what I could give to it, how I could participate, how I can grow in leadership. This is going to be an excellent session. So I'll tell you about our speaker in just a minute. But before we get going, just laying the groundwork for people who have not been here before. We do this each and every Thursday. The replays are always up on YouTube by the following Wednesday. So if you are somebody who's catching the live but want to see the replays, there is a library of incredible speakers right now on SARE National's YouTube channel, which we will post at the end of the hour here. Now, Mary Ann Kellam. I'm telling you, this woman has a bio. I could take up the whole hour telling you about her accomplishments, but I'll point out some of the highlights. She is the president and CEO of the Irving Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Under her leadership, this chamber has added several business seminars, leadership seminars, ongoing trainings for small startup businesses and existing businesses. She has also really poured into minority-owned businesses. I can't think of a better person to pour into this group. Also, before that, she was in the financial services industry for 17 years. She had active leadership positions in Dallas and Coppell. She is also the past Hispanic Women's Network of Texas state chair. So she's somebody who knows her way around the business world. Also, past chairman of the board of the Coppell Chamber of Commerce, a committee member on the Coppell Independent School District, also has been on the City of Coppell Economic Development Board. I don't know how she had time to work because there were so many boards. She was so incredibly involved. I find it particularly interesting that she had created this youth leadership program for high school juniors. It's the Coppell Youth Leadership Program, which she facilitated for 10 years. She also has extensive experience in sales, extensive experience in management. She's owned and operated several businesses and is also a certified professional image consultant, insurance benefits consultant, and a self-improvement and development consultant. She has kind of done it all. In her spare time, because I think it's fun to know a little bit about the personal life of people. She's not just a businesswoman. She is also a jewelry designer, also conducts team building workshops, personality assessments, and etiquette training for corporations and schools. I'm telling you, if that needs to be a whole nother session, is the business etiquette session. We need to do a whole nother one on that. But today we are focusing on this. What can a Chamber of Commerce do for you? This is the first in a two-part series. So this week we have what can a Chamber of Commerce do for you? Next week we have what is needed to grow your small business. And that's why I brought up some of those other tidbits in her bio, because sometimes when we see somebody's current position, we think that's all they've done, and you forget about everything that they did to get them to that place. So the way that these sessions work is that I will go on mute, she will present, and then on the back end is where you get all your questions answered. So you may not have access to Mary Ann on a day in, day out basis. However, you have access to her today. We've got a nice intimate group here, so don't be shy about asking questions. There's no big question too big or too small. If she can't answer it, she can't answer it, but don't be shy about really getting in there. So as she's speaking, think of those questions, type them in the chat. I will be taking notes and taking down all those questions, and we will get together on the back end, back 15 or 20 minutes of the hour together and get those answered. All right, Mary Ann, take it away.
Thank you, Jenny. That was very nice of you to give me all those accolades, but I am here today for a very specific role, and that is my passion, which is helping small business in the community. And because we're in Irving and the Metroplex of Dallas, Fort Worth, we really get people from all over the Metroplex. So it's not just Irving, and it's also a very diverse group. So I'm very happy to be here with y'all today. So I'm going to get this show on the road. And first I'm going to ask you a question. And I can't see everybody's hands, but I think one of the questions I usually ask when I'm doing this for groups in schools and such is how many people even know what a Chamber of Commerce does. I know sometimes if they know, they don't know what they can contribute or how it can help them. But sometimes people don't even know what we do or that we even exist. So I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of a history here. The earliest Chamber of Commerce in the country and the world was actually started in 1912, and it's still in operation today as the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and it's in Washington, D.C., which we are a very proud member of. The first one created throughout the world, though, was in 1599. I don't think any of us were born there, Jenny, then, and that was in France. And then the United States Hispanic Chamber, which is the largest Hispanic chamber or organization, which has 5 million Hispanic-owned businesses in the country. And that one started in 79, so it's still in operation. We still go there twice a year for our legislative summit and our conferences and such. So very, very active and very supportive of our small businesses across the country. And the Urban Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, believe it or not, this year celebrates its 25th anniversary. So happy to be here for 25 years. I was a mere child when I started this. So here's some reasons to join the Chamber of Commerce. And this is where we get into the nuts and bolts. So a lot of people say, well, I don't know what it has to offer to me. So one of the things that I like to talk about is these are the things that I feel like when you join a chamber, you're going to get the credibility. You want to enhance the reputation of your membership because you want to tell people who you are and what you do. So 44% of consumers are more likely to do business favorably to businesses who are members of the local chamber. And this comes to us from a lot of research that we've done. So that right there, this is telling you just the fact that you're a member of a chamber allows that many people to feel more comfortable with you. 63% of consumers are more likely to buy products from services from businesses who are members of the chamber. And also 12% more likely to believe their products or services are better than competitors. And basically, as I'll go into this a little bit further, it's all about the relationships that you create that create that trustworthy in you. The other thing that is important is the connectivity. I'm telling you, you cannot build your business if you're not connecting with people. You need to connect with businesses every day or you're not growing. So the best way we say is by making connections. Chambers of Commerce are one of the best organizations to help you and your business thrive. Chambers of Commerce is also unique. No two are alike. So you'll see that no matter how many chambers you join, and there's several around the Metroplex, and I'm sure wherever you are, there's several, but it's also about finding out what they're doing that's going to help you, because a lot of them focus on different areas. Ours is strictly for small business, and then you have others that focus more on larger corporations. And then from networking and volunteer events to promotion and marketing packages, you'll make connections, you'll make potential clients, and even gain exposure for your brand. So my whole thing is I tell people, if you're not connecting with people, you're not making relationships and you're not growing your business. And that's when the part of the networking comes in. Exposure and visibility. You want to stand up and get noticed, right? You want people to know who you are again and what you do. So find ways to get your brand into the community. Find ways this is really hard, especially when you're very young. So make sure that you find a way that you can get out there and tell people who you are. The other thing is the membership directory. Every customer relations management system has access to their directory. And so by being a member, you have access to everybody in the database at the palm of your hand. So it's very, very helpful in that manner. The recognition through newsletters, social media posts, awards, and other forms of publications. We do our newsletters every week. So there's always stuff going on there every single week. Everything that goes in our newsletter goes on social media. And then we also are looking at our own members to nominate for awards around the Metroplex and around the country. And of course, we do a lot of publications as far as for our own self promotion and also in advertising. So we want to make sure that we get you in the public eye. And then comes the networking. This is where I tell people, if you're not networking every day and making new contacts, you're not growing your business. You know, back in the day when we were younger, you used to be able to start your business, put your sign on the door and lean back and wait for people to walk in the door. Now you can't do that because people aren't doing that. People are waiting for you to come to them, and they're out there networking. They're out there shaking hands and meeting people. And if you're sitting back in your office waiting for them to come in, and they're over here networking, you're not going to get them in your place. So we offer, and every chamber that I know offers monthly events. We have chamber committees that you're able to work on, which gives you more visibility because people see you more and more on a regular monthly basis. We also have mixers every month that are great because the after hour mixers kind of help people relax in a more relaxing environment, to be able to network and talk to people after hours. Then we have numerous ribbon cuttings throughout the month, and that just gives you an opportunity to also become an ambassador, which just brings you more visibility and allows you to be able to help welcome those new businesses into the community. And then we have our signature events with vendor opportunities. And later on, I will tell you a little bit more about those. But our monthly events that we have monthly Café con Nosotros, which is our morning networker. We have a power hour, which is business related at noon. And then, as I mentioned, the mixers in the evening. And the reason that we do that is because not everybody can get away after hours, or not everybody can stop in the morning and network before getting to the office. So we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity every month, whether it's a morning event, a noon, or an evening event that you can make sure that you connect with people. So we want to make it so you're able to attend. These are some of our signature events. These are events where you can actually come out, volunteer, get your face out there, get your t-shirt with your business on it, get your tent with your logo on it, get out there and have a vendor booth and talk to everybody that comes through. We have our Big Heroes Appreciation Day where we actually come out and cook about 450 hamburgers for all the first responders in Irving, police, fire, and EMTs. So those are great opportunities for you to put vendors out there, vendor booths out there for people to come talk to you, give out little marketing things that the police and firemen can take with them and remember your company. We have the Golf Classic. Of course, everybody loves either to play golf or work a golf tournament because it's a lot of fun. And so we do that as well. And that also allows you to have a booth out there and talk to all the golfers, and usually about 100, 120 golfers and all the volunteers. Then we have the annual awards gala, and I'm sorry I didn't update this one, but we're in the process of creating our new logo. But this one was from a year or so ago. Last year we had Urban Goes Paris. The year before that was Hollywood. This year we have our 25th anniversary. So our theme is basically our silver anniversary gala. So it's going to be very silver and very, very elegant. And then we have this fun event that we do in the fall. It's our hot sauce festival. And that's where people get to enter their hot sauce recipes and get judged. And we have categories for the best overall flavor, the hottest, and the best non-traditional, which nowadays, they add avocado and mango and everything you can put in there, but amazingly good sauces. And then we have categories for not entrepreneurs, what's the word I'm thinking? Amateurs like you and I. We have restaurants that compete against each other. And we also have one for schools, high schools, where the kids get to compete against each other. And that's a lot of fun because it's schools against schools. So these are some of the things that allow us to have more events for people to really get out there and network. So the other thing that we also do that's very big in our heart, and that's advocacy. We actually go to the local, state, and national government to speak on behalf of our businesses. There's so many legislative issues and agendas and so many things that affect our businesses, from new regulations, fees, taxes, cost, everything that could hurt possibly, and in some cases help. And if it's something that helps them, we want to really go out there and push for it. So we're not lobbyists, but we can go out there and support a cause, or hopefully fight against it so that it doesn't affect our small businesses. So we do this annually. We go to Washington, D.C. once for our summit, and we go to Austin about 3 times a year. So we're very, very big on advocacy, because if we don't stand out there and when you think about the United States Hispanic Chamber representing 5 million small businesses or Hispanic-owned businesses, when a legislator or an elected official looks at that, that's how many votes they're looking at. That's how many people in the country that they're looking at if it's something national. So even on the Texas level, we just created a new coalition in Texas with so far 9 chambers and a couple more coming on board. And it's called the Texas Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Coalition. And that in itself will have, several 100,000 members. So we're going to be represented. So again, when we go even to Texas, just with that one group, they're looking at all those numbers, and it does speak volumes. So that's very important. The other thing is referrals. You know, you always say, hi, if you can just refer me to somebody, I need some business. So the chamber, first of all, is going to refer members before any other. So if you're an electrician and you're a member of the chamber, if we have two electricians, those are the ones that are going to be given out as references first. If they can't do business with them, then they can go and do some business with others. But we're always going to recommend our members first. And of course, you have the members to members. You know, everybody in the country has their own circle of influence, has their own customers, clients. And so everybody has people that they know that they can recommend or refer to you that you may not have contact with. So we make sure that member to member, if somebody supports you and believes in you and trusts in you, they're going to be more apt to recommend you to somebody they know than somebody that they don't know. And then, of course, community members to others. If you're involved in the chamber, you get known by the community that you have a business, that you are viable, that you are trustworthy. And those people, again, will recommend you to say, hey, I know somebody that's in the chamber that does this business, and there you go, you've got a business. And then you have the purpose for the chamber is basically bottom line. It's just providing ongoing support for our businesses. At the end of the day, we have to do what the business needs us to do for them. We have training in any area of business management. We have leadership training for staff. And as I mentioned earlier, connecting your business to resources. We now have a small business resource center that we just opened in our chamber to be able to office, not necessarily office them, but to hold meetings for our clients or our members to actually come and meet with someone that they need help with. So somebody may need financial literacy help. Somebody needs to understand their financials, their P&L state or whatever. We can connect them with a bank that can come in one-on-one and sit with them and help them understand. Somebody might need a new website and they don't know where to begin. We can sit them down with someone who will work with them one-on-one to help create that website to the best that they can. So we make sure that whatever it is that that company needs, we find the resource for them. If you need to get certified to be able to do minority business, we make sure we get you certified. We connect you with the right agencies. So everything, rather than sending you all around the Metroplex to go get this here and that there, we bring everybody to the chamber. You know, that one stop, and you can come there and meet whenever you need us to schedule your appointments. So it's a very nice new thing that we just added this year that everybody's liked, because it makes it a lot easier for them. Here are some of the events, whether it's us or anybody else. This is what our Café con Nosotros says. This is where we go in the morning and meet with fellow members to build relationships. One of the things we added this year in 2023 to the Café con Nosotros, which is the morning networker, is we added the health and wellness series. So a lot of people, as we're talking to businesses and trying to get them started the right way to do business and be successful, we realize that a lot of people are in such a hurry to get started and find that first customer and make that first dollar, that they open up shop and they're ready to get out there and go. And they're not even thinking about, wait, what about your staff? What are you doing for your staff to make sure that they're productive and that your business continues when you're out the door trying to make those sales? So one of the things we added was the health and wellness, because if your staff and your employees are not healthy, then your productivity is going to go down. So what can we do to bring those awarenesses every month to their attention and allow them time to go and get checked out and get the physicals and get the, every month there's, oh my gosh, we found so many different awarenesses every month that we need to be knowledgeable in. And everybody has something that they suffer from, whether it's visible or not. And so to be able to get that help, it's really crucial. Right now, I think the biggest thing right now that we're finding is the mental health. And I think more so since COVID, but it's huge out there. And to be able to, not that you're going to recognize that, but to be able to offer seminars and things that people are aware of what you can do to help them speaks volume as well, because they know that you care about them. So that's something new that we added, and it's been received very well by the medical industry. The second one is, I mentioned the business seminars. We want to make sure when you come to the Power Hour that you walk away with some new knowledge in your business, whether it's in your business, your own business, or whether you're an employee at a company and you can go make yourself better in that position. So we want to make sure that's whether it's something to do with business or it's something to do with leadership, you walk away with something that you learned. And then the evening mixers are usually, well, they're always after hours, 5:30 to 7. And that's where we kind of get a little bit more relaxed. You can loosen that tie if you even wear one these days. And you can have, a glass of wine or a beer and appetizers and just get to know somebody on a bigger scale. We get a lot. Those are bigger numbers because I think people at the end of the day, they're ready to get home. They're ready to lock the door and call it a day. And, not that I'm pushing alcohol, but I mean, if they want to go out and just grab a beer and just, chat with someone and talk about their business or talk about their issues, what's the best practice? What are you doing about this? How do you have this issue? And all of a sudden to see the new connections that are made every month at these events is amazing because even after the thing closes at 7, they're still there talking and networking. So it's very, very nice. Then we also added, or we've always had some college education and in school programs. We are going to go back to doing our Spanish training, and that is the Hora de Poder, which is basically how to start your business, but in Spanish. The whole session is in Spanish. The workforce readiness program is something we started right before COVID. And this is because we talked to corporations and asked, what is it that you're needing from people coming out of school, coming out of college? And one of the things that they kept telling us over and time again was they're not coming out with soft skills. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to be interactive with people because of this and computers and all the technology that we have around us. That human element is a lot of times lost. So we're going back in and teaching the soft skills. How do you do crucial communication? How do you, what is it that you do when you meet somebody? How do you, you need to shake hands and make eye contact, not just like, oh yeah, So a lot of that stuff is important. So we're doing that that's coming through the high school, the Irving Independent School District and Dallas College. So we do the high school cohort and then we move into the college cohort every year. And then the adult education literacy program, we work that through the Irving ISD, and that's teaching adults entrepreneurship and professional skills. It started off as being an ESL class in the beginning, but then they realized that they needed to be teaching more than just English as a second language. And so what they decided to do is to really teach skill so that either they can go out and find a better job, better pay, or even if they want to start their own business. And that's where we come in, and their industries that they're presented with now are construction, hospitality, technology, and textiles. So somebody can go in there, learn the language, and actually learn a skill that they can go in and start a business. So we walk them through that and partner with them with a lot of our businesses. And then one of the things that we added this year, another thing we added, or rather last year, this is our second cohort, is we added 2 small business courses through the assistance of Northlake College campus of Dallas College. And this is to help our entrepreneurs. This is what happened during COVID as we were helping people navigate through the process of applying for grants and monies that were being given to them, either in grants or loans from the government. And a lot of people, one, didn't understand how to do it. So we thought we'll step in and help them. And as we did, we found that a lot of people did not have, basically were not ready for it. Okay. They didn't qualify because they didn't have the right financials. They didn't have a relationship with the bank. They didn't know what a P&L statement was. They didn't have their payroll system done properly. So there were a lot of things that I saw as we were going through this. And I thought, these people are going to lose their business if we don't step in and help them. So what we did, while we have the entrepreneurship classes for new businesses, I said, we need to go back in and help these businesses that are in business, go back to the beginning and start from, not from scratch, but to start building put in the bricks that you left off. So a lot of things were missing. And so Northlake College came up with the courses, Introduction to Business and Small Business Management and Entrepreneurship. And we had the first cohort, we graduated in November with 10 graduates. And this year we started another one a week ago, last Monday. And I believe we ended up with 19. So these are people that are really ready to get their business going the right way so that we make sure that they stay successful. Let's see. And then we added, as I mentioned earlier, our small business resource centers. So just to give you an idea of some of the things we're helping, of course, with any startup business, there's a lot of complexities with the business. And so we make sure that we help you with that. We equip the leaders with everything that they need to get ahead in their industry. So the resources that we're doing for now is we have people like the SBA, the SCORE people, GLIP Fund, which are CDFIs, which are like lending institutions, Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts, IRS, Goldman Sachs, the 10,000 Small Business. That's a scale up program that we put people through once they get to a certain level so they can scale up to the next level. Of course, legal structure by the attorneys. A lot of times people don't realize that by not having an LLC, your assets are at risk if anybody should sue you. We have the Minority Women Business Enterprise Program. That's where we certify you to be able to do business as a minority-owned woman or minority-owned business. We have banks and financial help to access capital. We have payroll services, HR laws, account, basically anything that you need to help you put your business in the right track. So this is where the Small Business Resource Center comes in. And then according to, I don't know what the makeup of our audience is, but being that I'm the Hispanic Chamber, I will talk about Hispanic businesses. There are more than 5 million Hispanic businesses, as I mentioned to you, contributing over $800 billion to the economy. So when I hear this, I realize, and they say that the biggest demographic of people starting business in the Hispanic population is women. So the thing about all that is that we need to make sure that these women are starting their business properly and staying successful. And then, oops, I think I hit, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Sorry, I was meant to do this. I got it. We also have a women's division. Not that we have anything against the men, but women always have a lot of other things that they want to address. And so what we call ourselves is a women's division where we educate, empower, and elevate women. And our feminars, as we call them, because we're all feminine, we have feminars quarterly, and they range in anything from leadership to just, we had a vision board planning session. We just do things that are all women centric, and we also have women centric vendors that come out and sell their goods and stuff to our women. So it's just a fun but yet very educational way for women to get together and form that sisterhood that we always look forward to having. And then this is just some stats that I wanted to share. 1.7 trillion is what Hispanics are worth. 62 million Hispanics in 2020. So this is just something that if you want me to, I can send this to you guys to share. This is really good stats if you ever need anything. And then I think this is, oh, well, this is something that I wanted to go over later as we get into more in detail about the next session that we're doing next week. So with that, I will tell you, this is what our CRM system looks like, and this is what you can have at the palm of your hand to be able to connect with all our members and register for our events and find out what the calendar of events has to offer, and just a lot of different things. But again, there's just a lot of privileges to being a member of the chamber. And so if you have any questions or anything, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to help you and get you connected, whether it's us or somebody else in your area. We just want you to get connected with the right people and make sure that you're doing what you need to do to grow your business. Okay, Jenny?
Awesome. That was so great, Marianne. Thank you. And I'm glad that we still have a good amount of time to chat and to answer questions. So you guys, if you were listening and gosh, something came up about questions about chambers, that sort of thing, let us know. And if you sent a direct message to us, I got that as well. I know sometimes people are shy about putting it in the full chat, and that's totally fine. I completely get that. Thank you for sort of running the gamut. And this just gives us a nice foundation so that we can kind of jump off from there. Let's start with this. In terms of joining a chamber, when do we do that? Let's say there's somebody watching that they're more like business curious. They haven't started their business yet. They have an idea, like let's say they want to do an ice cream shop, but they're like, well, I haven't formed my LLC. I don't really know my business model. I've got a cool ice cream recipe, but I've never made it in mass production. At what point in their journey should they consider joining?
Now I can say that because we have the resource center, this is the time to do it because we're getting ready to start, for instance, a new program for restaurateurs, people that want to open food establishments. And we're working with a chef who has her own nonprofit. And so we're connected them. She's actually going to work one-on-one with people that need assistance. So while you think, well, I need to have my business to join the chamber because how do I market what I don't already have? Now is the time to get connected to the people that will help you get to that point quicker and make sure that you're doing it properly. So I have people that come to me and say, I want to open a restaurant and I have a little bit of money saved. And I'm like, well, your key word there was little. They need to know how much they need to be able to open that business. That you may go in there and spend all this money opening the business and find out that you should have put your money someplace else to get you going to the point where you needed to be versus going to that level. And also understanding, what you need to buy initially to get started. Some people think, oh, I need a new computer and I need new, office and I need all this stuff. No, you need to focus on the things that are going to get you, your LLC, the things that need to get you protected now, find your good location, things like that. So we just want to make sure we're connecting to the people that you need at that moment and not what you're going to need later on. That comes later.
Yes, okay, that makes sense. And then are there different when you join, what's the for people who've never been a part of one, what's the commitment when you, and I'm sure that it varies chamber to chamber, but can you give kind of an idea of what the financial time, all
Yeah.
those different commitments are?
Financially, for small business as you have different tiers of membership. And initially it goes by based on how many employees you have as to how much. Ours starts at 300 and it goes based on the number of employees, and then it goes up to 650 if you have like 25 employees. And then after that, when you're a little bigger or you have a lot more employees, it gets into the corporate levels. But our highest level for us is only $5,000, and that's for a company as big as you
That's
want. So,
for a
so
year or for
for a year, yeah.
Hey,
So
well, I'm glad that we just asked you outright because I was honestly thinking it was going to be much more.
there are some chambers who have a
Yeah.
lot higher dues, but my thing is I want to make sure that we're providing you the benefit and the value that you're paying us. And so if I go out there and charge you $15,000, $20,000 to join, and I'm not giving you $15,000, $20,000 worth of value, not that I'm not, but I'm just saying I don't want to shortchange you, so I want you to come in and get a good feel, and I want you to get engaged. And that's the other thing. It's the commitment it's the money is just that one little bit of commitment. The commitment, I say, is for you to get engaged. If you're not engaged in your chamber, you're throwing away your money. So go in there, go into the chamber, get engaged, attend the events, do the networking, get on committees so people know you. That also helps you build up towards being selected to be on the board and being on, chairing committees. And so all of that just brings in a higher level of recognition and people knowing who you are,
Mhm. Yeah,
but
that's
get
very
engaged.
true. Like you can't just it's like you're not going to get social media attraction by just posting and praying that it works. You've got to respond to people, you have to respond to messages, you have to keep going. It sounds like it's the same thing with the chamber. You can't just sign up and pay your 300 if you're small and 5,000 if you're a huge corporation and think that you're going to start getting partnerships out of it. You've got
And if you do that, then you're not going to be around next year. Because when we come back and say it's time for you to do, you're going to say, but I didn't get anything out of it last year. And my first question is going to be, well, how many events did you attend? And when they say, well, I wasn't able to attend this, but then you didn't have a benefit. And that's when I'd rather you see that you have the time to commit to being able to come out and network at least once a month, right? Make yourself out there. Put yourself out there and make yourself visible to people so that they know that you're doing business and what you're doing. We're even for right now, we're doing a thing for downtown Irving because of the construction that started right after COVID. It's affecting their business. And so what we did, we started this new initiative of reinvigorating South Irving. And so every 2 weeks, we get a group of people to go and visit this one business in downtown Irving and support them. And then next 2 weeks, we'll go to a different business with a bunch of us and go support them, whether it's buying something, whether it's scheduling an appointment, whether whatever, just to get, and we do a lot of social media campaigning so that when we're in there, people know where we are, and when people know we're going there, people know we're there, and people know we went there. So that company is getting a lot of recognition on social media from us. So
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. It's like you have to support one another, right? So you've got to show
exactly.
up to support that other business so that that business will show up to support you. I can see this as a more efficient way of networking too, where if you just like again with the ice cream shop, if you just kind of open the ice cream shop and say, well, I'm going to get out there and try to support other businesses randomly, this is a more organized way of doing it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
And
can.
it all comes back around because eventually then they'll come in and support you and also.
Of course. So, listen, I was going through some in your bio, some of the things that we announced that you had been involved in over the years, being on a lot of boards, being, chairing movements, being an organizer of things. Is that because Marianne is just built that way? Or is that because you were working on a business and you know that these things contribute to the business? Or is it a combination of the two?
I think it's a combination. I think I wasn't involved in chamber work in the beginning. I was a traveling person with my first career where I was gone a lot. And so I would come home and they would say, oh, you're Dennis Kell's wife. Oh, you're Drew Kell's mom. And I'm like, no, I'm Marianne Kellam. And so all of a sudden I realized I people don't know who I am. They know who I am, but not who I am, right? They know I'm somebody's wife and somebody's mother. So I started getting involved for that reason first, and I joined the chamber, started a business. But everything else came just because, well, I do have a heart for giving. I do have a heart. I did a lot of stuff in the beginning for women and children and women and girls, and to this day, I still do that through Hispanic 100, through Hispanic Women's Network of Texas. All of those organizations that still support those causes. But it was just that I was so wanting to get involved and engage with my business that I knew that I had to promote my business or it wasn't going to get promoted. And so I started joining chambers and I started doing leadership programs and I started doing the things that I thought would help me. And then what happens after that is people see that you're out there. And so they're going to be looking for people that are like that they can bring on boards and stuff. So I just got asked to sit on the Dallas Regional Chamber Board, which is a very huge chamber of commerce in the region. So they selected me because of what we're doing at the chamber. By the way, we were voted 2021 Chamber of the Year for the national chambers, all of the United States. So I'm saying I'm still milking that for as long as I can. But to be recognized amongst all Hispanic chambers in the country for the size of chamber that we are was huge. And so that brings, I hate to toot my horn, hate to say, well, that brings clout, but it does bring recognition. People notice those things and people want to be associated with that kind of leadership and that kind of success. So, but let me tell you, it's not all me, it takes a village for everything. And I have an amazing staff and without them, I couldn't do what I do. So, kudos to them as well.
Listen, I say go ahead and toot your horn, right? I say go ahead and do it. If you don't, nobody else will.
I
So
know.
I think that's awesome. I think that's really, really great.
I'm excited. I do say one thing to younger people as they start getting into the leadership roles and stuff. And in my thing to my son and anybody from that point on is it's always better to think of the quality of work that you do versus the quantity of work that you do. A lot of times young people come and go, oh, I got asked to be on this board. Oh, I got asked to do this. And oh, I'm asked to do this. And I'm like, need to make sure you're not spreading yourself thin because what you do, you don't want to leave that place and have people go, oh, they promised everything and didn't do anything. Or instead, you want to say, you know what, that person was a go-getter and they got things done when they said they would, and leave that legacy, leave that positive feel behind when you leave that says he did what they said they were supposed to do or thought they were supposed to do. So it's important to make sure that you do it out of a passion, first of all, because if you're not happy doing it, don't do it. And then the other thing is making sure that you're giving it your all. And my dad used to say, you can't always give 110% to more than one person. So you can't have a lot of jobs. Of course, back then, that's how they thought you worked for one person and one person only. But now, even in the volunteer work and the boards that we sit on and the committees that we work on and stuff, it's always about making sure that you have that balance and you're not overextending yourself.
I love that you shared that because you look at your career, of course, you started in business when you were an infant, so you have a
I
lot of
did.
years. Yes.
My daddy used to say that I came out of the wounds talking to the doctor because I was always a talker. I was like,
So you're in the perfect position. You're doing what
yeah.
you should be doing. Yes, communicating and connecting with other people. But I love that you shared that because somebody can look at what you've done and they think, oh, well, I need to sign up for everything. And then before you know it, you can't even work on your own business because you're on all of these different things. So I love that advice. Now, what would you say in terms of if somebody is just getting started? I mean, we've got a wide range of people who end up watching these YouTube videos and then also who are on live with us as well. But if somebody's just getting started, I would love to hear three best practices, three most important tips for them starting in business to make sure that their business is around for longer than a year.
The first, three people that I think, and we talk about when we do financial literacy, is that you have to have in your corner is to make sure that you have an attorney that's going to guide you through the proper channels, to make sure that you're doing everything legally correct. Make sure that you have a good accountant or CPA to get you set up with your books. That is so important. And I always say, and of course your banker, because as I mentioned earlier during COVID, that's why people didn't qualify because they had no relationship with the banker. So get your banker. And I think that probably would be my number one thing, because if you're going to need capital, you're going to have a relationship with the banker. And so meet with someone that is going to help you with that, identify what your needs will be, get yourself with those three people. And of course, the chamber now is my fourth person that I think you should have in there, is because that's where you're going to go and go, okay, now you got to go get your LLC. Now you have to, first you get, your, whatever it is that your name that you're going to identify your business as, get it certified, get it, get your books going, get, all of those steps. But again, if people don't have an accountant and they don't have an attorney that's guiding them, or someone that has enough knowledge to know you can't do it that way, you need to do it this way. But eventually, as you get set up, have that attorney at the palm of your hand, maybe like speed dial, if you ever need that. But certainly a CPA, a banker, and now I say the chamber, because you can get all the resources that you need from the chamber if they have them for you.
So if I'm understanding correctly, often the chamber will have a suggested CPA or a suggested attorney or that sort of thing.
Every chamber will have within their membership, they'll have someone they can recommend. And if they don't, they just need to, go and find someone that is working. And again, it has to be someone that's in the business world. So a business attorney and a business, well, the CPA is going to be able to do business, but you don't want a family law attorney trying to help you with business and whatever, or criminal justice law. You want to make sure you have the right type of attorney. So definitely.
Yeah, that's very true. And then that makes me think attorneys and accountants should join the chamber too, because then they can be the
They
referral.
should, and we have some, but not to the extent of, you have so many more out there that need to, but yeah, that's always a small number for most chambers, but yeah, definitely.
Oh, I think that's great. And I love that advice that you shared because it can be really daunting when people first get started, almost like where they get started and there's so much on that front end with just like the not fun stuff, like the not making of the ice cream, that it can be so overwhelming when somebody first starts out in business. So I like that you all have the soft landing place. Do you, to your understanding, do other chambers have that small business training program like you guys have?
Some of them are starting to, more so than they used to, but no.
Okay.
None of the ones that I've been involved with in the past had it. You pretty much were on your own. You came to the chamber because you wanted to network your business, but they didn't work with helping you start your business.
Mm.
And that's, to me, that's, if you're going to be at that point where you're going to need to network your business, you need to be able to have your business. And the other thing that I hear a lot, people come in and say, well, I want to start a business. And I'll sit down and say, okay, so what do you want to do? And then they go, what's needed? ¿Qué se necesita? I'm like, well, let's see. So again, it's find your passion. If it's not something that you enjoy doing, why are you going to go invest your hard-earned savings and start a business if it's something you don't enjoy doing? So always, always, always find your passion.
That's interesting. It would have never dawned on me that people would come and start out like that.
It's what's
Where
needed.
do you think that
I
stems
need a
from?
helicopter to take me around the Metroplex. Can you build me one? It's like, no.
Yeah, what do you think that stems from?
I think they have no direction. They have no idea of what they can do. My first question to them is, well, what do you do well? What can you do? Well, I can do this or that, well, then focus on that. Don't try to do something that you can't do. Because, when you do that business plan, which is one of the first things you need to do before you even go to your banker, when you do that business plan, you have to put on there what you're good at and why you think this business is going to be a good business for you. And if you can't tell me that you can do this business because you understand how to do construction or you know how to do this, why am I going to lend you money when you don't even know what you're getting into? So it's very important.
Mm. Yeah, of course, and I think with that sort of, I don't know if the American dream is still a thing, but when I was first getting started out in the work world, was everybody talked about the American dream, and I think that so often people think of business as being that, like you know, buying a house and having a business, and so I wonder if it sort of stems from that we think even just like when our families come here that we got to do a business. I know when my family came from outside of this country here from Italy and Mexico. They both started businesses. And part of that was people not wanting to hire them. And I think part of that was like that American dream, sort of wanting to be a part of the fabric of the community.
And I think it's a latter more so than not. I think it's they want to be, they don't want to have to come to America, if you will, and work for somebody else. They want to be able to have a business and have that dream. Because if I'm working for ABC Company, I'm making ABC Company's owner's dream come true, not mine. So they want to go out and make their own dream come true.
Yeah, yeah. When you look at that, when you look at those people, the early business starters, and they're excited about the American dream, what is the hardest part that you've come across in business and that you've seen other business owners come across in terms of people getting mentally prepared for going into business? Like, what are the tough things that perhaps somebody should shore themselves up for?
Think the first thing is setting your business up properly. Setting it's that initial setup. And I'll tell you a story during the pandemic when we were helping a business through the process of the applications. We ran into a gentleman who owned a business that he had been in the industry for 20 years, ran this business for 15 years, bought it from a gentleman 15 years ago, ran it, paid taxes, did everything for 15 years. And when we went to help him and look up his business, it was never changed to his name. It was under the old owner's name. So for 15 years, he had a business that wasn't even his. So right there, it's just that education of just understanding to start your business properly. If he had gone through some assistance to get that business started, somebody would have been able to help him to get that thing done from the very get-go. First things first, get that business in your name. And if it's your own business, get that business registered and get that LLC and get yourself protected and create that business.
Marianne,
Yeah.
it's the boring stuff.
15 years he ran a business that wasn't his. This gentleman was probably in his early 60s or so, left our office crying in tears. And it just broke our hearts to see this man we couldn't help because he didn't know that he didn't have it in his name.
Wow. How does that even happen? Just the
It's the way that they change companies and do stuff, and they didn't know. I don't even know that the owner that sold it even knew. I mean, he was also of a different heritage, so the two may not have known,
yeah,
how to do it. So it was sad.
yeah,
That opened my eyes. And I was like, oh my gosh, we got to help these people. So, yeah.
completely. Yeah, and to stay informed and stay educated. Now, once you join, back to the to talk about the chamber, once you join the chamber, aside from dues, are there any requirements to stay active or things that you have to do in order to continue to be a member?
No, no, your dues are going to come due once a year. And so at the end of the year, we hope that you renew because you have enjoyed being a member. But other than that, it's just, and we have a great staff that helps you stay engaged and invite you to events. And we have the newsletters that go out every week to stay in communication with you of events that are happening, trainings that are coming up, grants that are available for you. That's how you find out what money's out there available for small business, is through our newsletters and through our communications. And we have a lot of people right now offering grants and offering assistance. And if you're not connected to somebody that knows that, you're not getting the information. So other than that, it's just staying engaged and staying aware of what's happening within the community and within your chamber.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know about those resources, about just getting the grant money, because going at it alone, that would be a full-time job to figure that out, right?
And it's discouraging when you can't find it, or you find it and it's not the right one for you, or you don't qualify or whatever. So to be able to have somebody say, here's one that's right up your alley. Here's one that you match perfectly well with. So connecting you to the right opportunities.
Gotcha. Now, do some people join the chamber so they can promote their services directly to other business owners?
Well, yeah, I mean, eventually they want to connect with people and promote their business. But what I tell people, and I had a lady one time say, "Oh, wow, this is a network of people. I want to come in and sell my product." And I said, if you think you're going to walk out of this business selling product, you're in the wrong place, because people aren't going to come out and write you a check or give you a credit card for something you're selling on the spot when they don't even know you. You have to come in and meet the people and make that relationship. You have to form a relationship. People buy from relationship. People buy from people they like, and more so than they. And obviously, if they have some history with you, that's great. But people aren't going to buy first just from meeting you and give you some business. You're not going to do that. You have to form that relationship. And within chambers, that might happen in other places where you go and they have the vendors that are selling right then and there. That's okay. But to come in and do business with a business owner, you have to create that relationship and that trust, so that they're going, because it's competitive out there. But you know what? There's enough of us to go around for everyone. So come out and make that connection with those people, and they'll do business with you.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be a turnoff if you showed up with product and tried to sell on the spot, whether it's like, come drink my
I
smoothie or buy my hair product or whatever.
Believe it or not, we've had that at some of our networking events, and I've had to stop them because, women are putting creams on people's hands and things that they're trying to sell. And I'm like, no, 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 that's not how we do business here. I mean, it's like yeah, you can do it after you've made that connection. If you go and follow up with them and it says schedule a coffee with them where you sit down and talk about it, then that's what you do there is up to you guys. But yeah, so we did get that. Not as
Yeah.
much anymore, but we used to.
Oh, interesting. Now, tell me this. Are people, when you show up to these events, what should you be? I wanted to say, do you bring business cards, but do people do business cards still? Like, what should you show up prepared with if
A
you
lot
join?
For the most part, people still do business cards. I actually have an app on my phone that you just scan the code, and it takes you straight to my information, and you just click on the barcode and it saves it to your contact, so you don't have to have the paper. But of course, printers don't like that, and they tell me, "Oh, you're taking away business from me," so I have to be careful. But for the most part, still come with plenty of business cards, unless you have an app on your phone that you can capture all those cards. And some people will just take pictures of cards when you run out of cards, because you usually do, and they'll just take a picture of the card. At least they have it for their records. But definitely connect with. You want to be able to follow up with them. If you're just meeting them for the first time and you don't have something to follow up with them, then you just made the connection and lost it because there was no follow-up. And I also encourage people, please, every time you go to a networking event, follow up with those people. Even if it's just a little email that says, "Hey, it was great to meet you. Look forward to meeting with you again." Try to schedule a coffee with them. Try to schedule, an appointment with them to just kind of find out about each other. And then the other thing is also not be talking about yourself all the time, but ask questions about their business and how can we partner? How can I help you? And try to go about it that way, instead of, well, here's what I do. What can you do to help me? Instead, ask, what can I do to help you? And you'd be surprised how much more open people become, because then they realize they want to help you as well. So
Oh my
that's
gosh,
what.
that might be the best advice of the entire event because I think
Uh,
you can kind of sense when somebody's just pushing something on you. And we all want people to be successful. And, if you're at something like that, you understand that you're promoting you, they're promoting them, but coming in with a sort of like openness of connection, I think can
yeah,
go a long way.
absolutely.
Yeah, I can. So we talked about the best practices. What are the worst practices when you show up? Hiding in the
Show
bathroom?
up. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what the worst thing I hate to see is when you walk up to a networking event and you go and you sit down and you start eating or drinking or whatever, and you're not networking. And it drives me crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Get up and network. That's the only way you're going to get to me. People aren't going to come to you and say, hey, what are you doing now? They're sitting down. They want to see you up here. You want to be eye to eye. So that's my biggest thing. It's getting people to understand that they have to go out there and network. And the other thing too is ask, let them talk, and don't be doing all the talking, because that's the biggest turnoff.
That's great. And for people, I think sometimes people are just nervous and intimidated when they go to an event like that, right? It's
A lot
like,
of times. Yes. What I do when I go, we have our events and I see that somebody's kind of standoffish or by themselves, I always go and try to connect them with someone. So if I know what they do, is I try to say, hey, have you met so and so? Because they do this and this is a great connection. And all of a sudden they start talking and then they start to feel more comfortable. And so sometimes you have to go be that person that makes that connection. I remember when during COVID and we had all those webinars and when you had all the people on the screen, right? We felt like the Brady Bunch and we'd look down at that one and up at that one, I remember. And it was interesting to see how many people would connect on those calls and say, oh, I need to talk to you after this because I've got this, we're a good fit and whatnot. So I love that because I'm feeling like this is what it's all about is you want people to connect. So to see them actually doing it on a call is wonderful. I met a gentleman during the COVID we were on a call that someone was putting on in LA and he had 80 some odd people on the call. And this guy was from Dallas and I'm in Irving. And so I right then and there, I emailed him and said, hey, I'm in the Irving area. Where are you? He happened to be in Farmers Branch, I believe. And we connected and he came out and joined our chamber and he just won Ambassador of the Year at our gala last month, 2 months ago. That's how engaged he became. And I met him only because I talked to him on a webinar just like this. Had I not reached out to him, I would have never gotten him. But what have I got to lose? Either they say no or they say yes. Right?
that's
And
incredible. I love that so much. That's such great messaging and so, so important. And
oh,
this is my
looky
daughter.
there.
Do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
She is, well, the crazy weather, so there's no kindergarten this week, so we're working from home, and she came in for the perfect time to wrap up. And listen,
Oh.
Marianne, I would love for you to share your contact information, however you want people to contact you if they're interested in getting in touch. Does that work?
My email address is Maryann, Maryann .Kellam, and that's KELLAM at Irving, IRVING, H as in Henry, CC as in cat.com.
Okay, perfect. So listen, this is only goodbye for now because we get to
Yes.
chat with you again a week from today, same time, same place. And the topic will be what is needed to grow your small business, which is a huge topic for so many people in this group. So Marianne, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeannie. Appreciate it. Bye.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So you guys, don't forget, same time, same place next week. We will go over it. And also, I know that a lot of you are logging out of that Sarah National website each and every week. So that conference is coming up in May, and I want you to save the date. The YouTube channel, as promised at the, I was gonna say at the top of the show. It's like our own Sarah show. At the top of our show is listed in the chat right here, so you can go to the events there and watch the replays of all the past events. Have a beautiful week, everybody, and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.